Jasper has his mask on, so I'm recording for this. You gotta, them, Purvis, you gotta take the reins of this podcast because the only thing about America I like is that we won a war against the British twice.
When was the second time?
1812.
Ooh, I wish we won that.
I mean, are they here?
I mean, they burned the White House to the ground.
That's not how war works.
I don't know.
Take it as a W.
Are they here?
I fully apologize for making you all go through this.
I enjoyed the album quite a bit. I have listen, I don't think everything is zingers, but I like the album quite a bit.
But I'm not surprised.
No, I thought it was good. I honestly, it went exactly as I thought it would. I thought Jasper was going to like it the most. I thought Brandon was going to enjoy it. Did not think Jeff was going to like it.
I couldn't finish. Sorry.
Jeff is like, the only drill I like is Chief Keef Sosa.
Yeah.
Because
I can understand him.
That's insane.
And him and not this.
That's nuts.
It's the British accent, I think.
It is the accent.
Of that.
Okay.
It is the accent.
Oh, we'll get to the album. Oh, welcome to the show, boys and girls. Taking a little trip around the pond, across the pond, aren't we?
Oh my god!
I'm gonna do this awful British accent.
I'm not gonna lie. I was gonna look up phrases and everything. I was so ready,
dude. We should have all worn suits and done like a James Bond theme.
Oh man, I was so ready to be annoying.
Oh god.
But yeah,
like, subscribe, do the whole thing. We're gonna do the whole thing,
etc. This, that, and the other. Tell us we're dumb.
Tell us we're done. Make fun of us for covering. I mean, I don't know. This album is pretty widely beloved.
Yes,
so,
it
is.
But yeah, I guess we've been teasing it for so long. This week, I finally decided to bring grime to the podcast, and we are reviewing Drizzy Rascal's debut album.
Hold on, time out. We're gonna stop right there.
Uh-oh.
Dizzy Rascal.
Yeah, I'm hate to say it, but Jasper's right about this one.
It's not Drizzy, it's Dizzy.
Okay,
Dizzy
I'm
Rascal.
sorry.
It's okay.
We all hate Drake. We know this.
I know. Yeah.
Dizzy Rascal.
Rascal, whatever you want. Yeah.
His debut album, Boy in the Corner, released in 2003. He was 18 when it came out, and this was one of the first grind albums to kind of make the popular scene in England.
Yeah, he has an EP from last year called "I Made Grime" or something.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not even joking. If you look up like grime on Wikipedia, his name is like the first one. It's insane.
Yeah.
But yeah, we decided to finally do this. I've rumored this for a while. I did want to eventually tap into all of the countries, but I don't know Spanish, so I didn't do Brazil.
Yeah.
And I don't know French, so I didn't do France.
I do think grime is besides her now drill, but I do think grime is the biggest hip hop movement outside of the States. Hip hop is international, it's everywhere, but there's rappers from everywhere, from Brazil, from Guadalajara. There's rappers from everywhere, but I have not seen any movement from elsewhere in the world get as much steam, in hip hop specifically, right? Not like a crossover act like Bad Bunny. Yeah. So I think grime's a big deal, and I think this album's a big deal. But we'll get to that after the news.
Yes. I'll fly through the news real quick, and not actually fly. It's just not a lot going on. I'm just going to say it's rumored. I don't care. It's Playboi Carti. But
yeah,
the Playboi Carti album is rumored to drop tonight. I Am Music finally here, featuring all of the popular people in the industry, basically.
I've even heard rumors that Kendrick's on it.
There is rumors that Kendrick is on it as well.
Yeah. So
Future, Young Thug, Uzi, Travis, Weeknd, you name it. If it's a big name, they're probably in it.
Yeah.
But we know how this goes. We've been here many times.
Yeah, this is the fourth time we've been I Am Music is supposed to drop this week. Yes. This is the only time it's gone from the news section at the bottom up to the album section at the top. So It does because it does seem like we're at a critical mass.
Yes, pretty much everybody's been posting about it, including Spotify themselves.
Yeah.
But as we know, Playboy Cardi has now a record pretty much as bad as Kanye's in terms of like releasing. So we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see how it goes. But that's literally the only like major album. There was some deluxe stuff coming out, but it's already out. Starting off with the singles, I don't know if you guys heard Freddie Gibbs' video.
I did. I was just adding that to the news because I think it's a big deal.
Yo, it's good. It's great.
Like, it's really
I don't
good.
know
He's
who to
dissing a
start at.
bunch of people.
Did you pick up on who? I didn't dive deep enough to like figure out who it was.
I was in
was
some.
just like, oh,
So the thing is that, like, it seems one. I think the most direct one I think is J. Cole because
mhm.
he's talking about the big three. He says the number 2 line, and like I think J. Cole is kind of famous for poop bars, and like he like clowns J. Cole all the time. He makes like I think there's a bar on it about like backing out of beef. So
Okay.
I think he goes after other people. The thing is that there's some confusion on if it's Benny the Butcher or
they
JPEG
have
Mafia. Because
That'd be weird.
yeah, he has beef with all these people, which is like, what a weird coalition, right? And not as not as artistically cohesive as the coalition against Drake, right? Like,
That is true. It's everyone we just named has no correlation with each other. So
I mean, you have Johnny P. Caddy.
I mean, okay, yeah.
JPEG
no,
Mafia
that's
is the
one song.
standout.
I will give you that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he's gonna be the standout regardless.
Yeah, he's gonna be the standout. But like, yeah, no, I thought this was a big fucking deal. Like, I thought it was wild that he posted a full-fledged diss track, like just on Instagram. We'll see what happens. It doesn't feel like there's gonna be a huge response to it.
No, there's
But
not much movement.
we'll
so
see.
far. I mean, and again, the reason I wanted to bring that up first is because he actually has a single apparently coming out tonight called Nobody.
No.
So maybe he is like, all right, I'm just going to push the agenda. Let's go all out. And if so, I mean,
Yeah. I mean,
I'm
he
in the
almost
front.
certainly has a project cooking because he always does.
Yeah, that's true. When he last dropped, wasn't it like in the winter or was it longer ago?
He dropped in
He just
October.
recently dropped. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he dropped in October. It was the same week as Still Praying. We reviewed it at the same time.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, it was good. It was real good. I think I like Still Praying a lot more.
Yeah, it's hard to outshine that.
Yeah. That, and he didn't have
so-
a wrestling match.
Well, yeah.
I would
It-
love
which
to go
was
to a.
phenomenal.
I would love to go to a Freddie Gibbs wrestling match.
We'll be on the lookout.
Yeah.
Jeff, hook us up with some wrestling stuff.
Yeah,
you know the stuff.
Oh, look. Let's see what I can do.
yeah.
Some other stuff going on. Lucky is going to be dropping Overthinking. We have Amine with his first single to his album that's been announced.
Familiar.
Yeah, familiar. Four Bats is back with Mortal Kombat. I don't want to call him a one-hit wonder, but he was close.
He's close. He's real close. And the thing is that, like, I don't know. I don't even know if they're seeing the full arc of Ice Spice. It makes me wonder if one-hit wonders even exist anymore, right?
Yeah,
Like,
that's
if
true. We need a new term.
yeah, we need a new term, like flash in the pan.
Don't
Or we
know
could
what's
just
on it.
we could just fold it all in the industry plant. People just call everyone that anyway. So like,
That is true. That has been the trend. But what can you do?
just subsume it. But yeah, I liked Four Bats' last album, except for the fact that he had Kanye on it. But like,
Yeah, I mean, when you're that early in your career and Kanye says, "Can I get on it?" It's hard to say no.
yeah, I
I'll
get
give him a
it.
pass. I'll give him a pass. But last but not least, this was kind of crazy. Lil Nas X is back,
Yeah,
apparently.
yeah, he's gonna do a
What
full
song's
run.
already out?
Yeah, he's been dropping. I haven't heard anything. I'm not like the biggest Lil Nas X fan, but my partner is. So like,
There you go.
I'm sure I will be made aware of these albums as it happens.
Fair enough.
Lethal Nas.
Yeah,
There we go.
I think he's really good. I love that song with Jack Harlow.
That was a hit.
That was a hit.
I feel like his popularity, the closest comparison I can think of would be oh, he's in jail. The music was just trending.
Tory Lanez.
No. The one with the JBL speaker. Now I'm blanking
Oh,
on
Fetty
the name.
Wap.
Fetty Wap. I feel like that's a similar arc.
I mean, I think the thing is that like Lil Nas X, like we really shouldn't be covering him on the show. He's a pop artist, right?
That is all.
Like he shares more of an audience with Chappell Roan than Freddie Gibbs, you know? Like, and I don't think that's a bad thing. Like, I think that's actually a good thing. I think he's like a really cool evolution of pop, but like, he's not really, yeah. So it's like, it's kind of hard to have like any perspective on him as an artist outside of like, oh, this is good or bad, you know, or I like this or this for that reason. But yeah, I think he's just like in that pop lane, and I think he's enjoying it. And like, honestly, it's cool to see a dude in the pop sphere that's not The Weeknd.
There's not a lot.
There's not a lot of men in pop, and especially black men. So
yeah, that's true. But yeah, that's literally all the music. Like I said, the news is short. The only real other news going on is the festival season stuff. All the lineups are finally coming out. We have Lala lineups coming out next week, Tuesday.
yeah,
Yep, the 18th.
Okay,
Yep.
and then Dreamfest is coming on Monday. So we're
here.
another round.
Festival season. We have so many big name shows this summer, though. Is that like it feels like
we made our own tour?
Yeah, we made our own festival between like Denzel and Kendrick and Tyler and all this. Like, it does feel like we're just kind of like, we'll see like what Lala has to offer. I doubt I go for more than one day with all the shows I go to. I'm excited to return to Riot Fest, but once again, I need to see the lineup. Like,
right.
I'm not going to go just to go if there's no one I want to see. I doubt that's the case, but yeah. Are there any last calls like for predictions? Has Lyrical Lemonade done their Summer Smash lineup yet? I know they're chaotic with it though.
They are chaotic, but I think it is coming up soon.
Are we going to talk? Never mind. I'll put it in the thing.
Okay.
So, yeah, any festival prediction or thoughts before?
I feel like Jeff is the one that knows everything.
I think Eminem's going to be probably something we should look out for. Lady Gaga, Olivia Rodrigo.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's really all I can think of right now. Like, it's hard to tell this year because like so many people have been here recently.
Yeah. I think a huge name is that's like kind of like in the air that I've heard like people say that if she's not on the GNX tour, she could be in the festival circuit is Doechii this year. But we'll see. Like, I think it sounds possible. Like, yeah, I have no idea who could possibly be in any of these festivals. I don't think anybody is like really standing out to me.
I think Doechii's very likely for Dreamville.
Yeah, for Dreamville, I think definitely.
Look, give me Childish or give me Death. I don't want anything else.
Dude, I would love Childish at Lala again. He like there was something about his performance like out in the like outside
watching
that
the skyline and everything.
It was nuts, dude. The performance we saw like being specifically outside like elevated it. That's not true of every performance that's outside, but this one for sure.
I have a song that I need to see Childish Gambino perform that I will never get to see him perform. But, oh boy.
What song?
Is it an older one?
It's an older one.
Bonfire. Like,
well, sure, but like, you know, Not Going Back. Dude, Not Going Back with live piano.
That'd be sick.
Insane.
Yeah. I really just want to hear Heartbeat.
Heartbeat would hit.
Yeah,
that's like really like I've seen like he didn't do Heartbeat the first time I saw him. We will see. But yeah.
Should we bring up Ian? I didn't even listen to it.
Oh yeah, I just watched it. It was just goofy. Like it's just goofy. Like he responds to Tyler the Creator. It sounds bad. Like
I miss Mac Miller.
Yeah, right. Like
that's all I could say.
It is just goofy. Like it was kind of pathetic. I'm kind of like side-eyeing Lyrical Lemonade a little bit for allowing this to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's like layers of bad. Like the more you think about it, the more of a like silly thing it is, because it's like he's addressing the accusations that he mocks Future, and like
as he's mocking Future.
like he's trying so hard to not mock Future, and he sounds so boring and bad.
Yes,
That's what it is, right? So like he's like rapping over this acoustic guitar beat, and it's like, what are you doing? So yeah, I saw Justin Hunt's video about it, and I was like, yeah, this is not a great look for this artist. But I've hated this artist since their first single, so I don't care. Like,
I do think, and this might just be a take, I do think in the upcoming year or so, we will see a lot less of like anyone can have a scene type of thing.
What do you mean?
I'm hoping.
Unpack.
I feel like because of the development of TikTok and just like how hip hop genre has been going, almost anyone can just kind of jump in and be like, have a
it feels like there's zero, not even gatekeepers. There's no gate.
Yeah, the barrier to entry is just like, hey, I grabbed a mic and I'm in the studio.
Yeah,
I think that might start going away more, or at least I'm hoping.
I just hope there's a better filter. Like I think it's good for people who like have a love for the genre that there is no gate for those people, because that's how we got Mac Miller.
Yeah, that's true.
But at the same time, it's like, oh no, like if there's zero gate, Ian can get in. It's like you want to let your dog in the dog door, but you don't want to let like a coyote in the dog door. So like you have.
Yes, that's actually.
He got the little hands like a raccoon, like he's coming to to steal the culture.
Where are the gatekeepers?
Yeah.
Where have they gone?
Well, that used to be radio play, didn't it? There's no radio play anymore. It doesn't matter.
No.
Yeah. I think, the decentralization, I mean, like, there are positives and negatives to it. I just, it does just seem like having a part of culture that's unique, like without like that filter, is just impossible, right? It's like, you can't have your cake and eat it too. It's just.
That's right. Huh?
All right. What is this Playboy Max streams in UK?
Yes. This also influenced, and honestly, this is my transition into the.
Oh, you always try to do this. I appreciate this. Yeah, that's
yes.
That's.
And I'm trying to make it smooth.
Yeah. No, you do a good job.
Yeah, Playboy Max. I know you guys probably don't know who he is, but he is a streamer. Along with like the Kai Sinets and et cetera, et cetera. What he has been doing more recently, he actually makes music with artists. He's had a bunch of like big name artists in studio, and recently he has been visiting the UK to work with underground people, bigger names. Think of like Fred again, Skepta, who is huge within grime, and they've been making some damn good music. I'll put it that way.
Interesting.
And it's just very unique because the idea of being in the studio, I feel like, was such a cultural experience of like seeing an artist make music. It was a special place to be, and being able to include people from all over the world to join them in this experience is just really dope to me. It does break down that barrier of entry that we just talked about, where anyone can kind of experience the process of making music. And considering he was in the UK, most of the music really was grime, and people just didn't even know. They just thought it was normal hip hop when it's not.
Yeah, I think a good place to like start this conversation is like, what is grime? Like, because like you're the most experienced. So no, I have my thing. I have my thought, but like you start.
Yeah, I'd probably listen to the most grime out of everyone in the podcast. If you were to go by like a strict definition, it did start coming up in the early 2000s. It isn't just hip hop. It is meant to be mixed with like EDM, dance music, traditionally, which you probably noticed in the instrumentation of this album. And at least I picked it up like immediately. And so like my experience, I've listened to a ton of Skepta, Stormzy, Gigs, Nux. Like there's a long list of people I've had the luxury of actually going through.
Yeah.
And like, it's good.
I've heard some Skepta. Really like I've heard enough to like know I like grime at least a little bit. I've never done like a full deep dive because it's probably like the most intimidating deep dive in the genre, because it's like it is sonically like as far removed from like traditional hip hop like as Death Grips and JPEG Mafia are, you know, like it is like not necessarily in that it's like so subversive, but it is just so different. Right. But yeah, it's that drum and bass influence, right? It's, you know, it's because like hip hop kind of got there, or kind of like got popular there after like electronic dance music had hit in like the 90s. Right.
Exactly.
So like naturally the DJs were going to be like the same thing. Whereas like the DJs here in America, like kind of started with hip hop, right? Like it was like, that's how it started. And then like hip hop, like the same technology that went from like taking records and turning it into hip hop, like went into house music. Like that's what house music is. It's like making dance music with the same technology as like 70s hip hop. And then in the 90s, when like computers and everything blew up a lot more and electronic music blew up, that just naturally transitioned. So it is like just kind of seeing hip hop in like this weird evolutionary space. But I don't know, it does still just feel like hip hop to me.
Yeah. Honestly, I think you just hit it right on the head, because like for me, the fact that it started in 2000, it's so different and unique from what we experienced, because hip hop in us goes back to the 70s, 80s, maybe even further back. Yeah. Honestly,
it's like 76. It's like there's like a date that you can track hip hop back to. Like,
there you go. So yeah, in the 70s. So like we had a 20, 30-year jump start on the genre, and to know that the first album that made it to like the main scene was an 18-year-old kid with insanely nice instrumental and production on their album, it blows my mind. It's such a unique way to look at hip hop for me. So that's why I was.
It really is. And like, yeah, I think like that is kind of the thing for me. And I think like what is hip hop can be like really subjective. And like the other thing is that like I just don't know. I don't think anyone here has any idea of like modern British culture, right? Like none of us knows like what authentic like grassroots what an authentic grassroots like British movement would look like, just because we're not from there. Exactly. Right? Like, and you know, I watch a lot of British TV, but like I don't fucking know. Like
exactly, it's not the same. Like, I watch a lot of soccer. It's just
like
I have an idea.
Like I've seen like, In-Betweeners. That didn't exactly but yeah, it's so it is just like kind of seeing this like a completely different, for lack of a better term, street culture like manifest into hip hop. And like, yeah, like you can definitely tell that like this guy, because he basically created grime. Like this guy basically just like, because like they had figured out hip hop albums in the States, right? Like it took a good 10 years until Raising Hell in the 80s for people to be like, oh, hip hop works as like an album. It used to be just a thing that happened at parties. So like he was able to kind of hit the ground running with like this really fresh take on hip hop, having it the hip hop album be already a thing that exists and a mold he could work in, and it really led to something really special. Like this was, considering the fact that he is 18, this is insane, wild. It reminds me a lot of the entire time. Both times I listened to it. Do you know what album it reminds me a lot of? Is 1999.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, that is probably. Yeah, that's exactly where I'm going. Like to me, this feels very similar to like Joey Badass in like 2010. You know, obviously there's a huge different context. You know, Joey Badass was like swimming in hip hop his whole life. But yeah, no, that was my opinion on it. I really, really liked it. I think there is a thing where it's like, it's not a perfect album. There are some misses, and I just have to be honest.
Yes.
Like, I think most of these songs in here are really compelling and they really grab me and I like them a lot. But the ones that don't, the accent adds an extra layer of goofiness, right? Like, that is
telling me you're not vexed, just like
yeah, right. Like, yeah, so I have to that's the thing is that like the album's incredible, right? But, and this is something I told you, to me, it also has like very heavy 2000s hip hop vibes, right? Like this kind of feels like the Game album a little bit. Like in the same way. And like a lot of those albums weren't flawless executions either. I think this is actually closer than like a lot of them. But like I Love You, that song, like the whole time I feel like I'm watching like trashy British television and I'm just like, you guys have the fancy voice. Don't yell at each other. Like it just
It's like a gentrified version of "I Love It" by Yeet.
No, Yeet's the gentrified
interesting.
version of this, actually.
Well, with the voice, I mean.
Yeah, with the actual.
Yeah, like
Because it's got the background where it's like the woman's voice doing the I love, like the whole thing. Yeah.
No, to me it reminds me of like God, there's this song. It's Glorilla and who's the guy? Moneybagg Yo. And they have a song that is like a trashier version of that song from Mr. Morale that The Alchemist produced. We Cry Together.
Oh yeah, We Cry Together.
And to me, this is just like the British version of that. And it just like, listen, I think that's like maybe the only song on the album I didn't like at all.
Okay.
But like, there is like an element, and I think this is just going to be a thing for me with grime, is that like, listen, artists I like aren't very rarely bat 100 or, or go undefeated, on tracks. I do think with grime, like when it just doesn't grab me, there is just going to be a layer of goofiness to.
You're going to know immediately. Yeah. It's just like, this one's not the one.
Yeah, exactly. Like not even, exactly. Like there's no cool persona to pull me through like a DaBaby, right? Like.
You don't want to feel like
or that
English
Mexican OT. There's not like a
like,
cool thing to get me through the bat.
A bloke going down the street with a knife.
We'll go to the chip shop.
There's a sticky one still. God.
But like, there's a lot here to respect, but like it is just a thing with me. And I'm sorry to any British viewers we have.
It may not
I'm right, sorry, man. Like,
oh my God.
All right, Jasper, let me hear your take since we've been rambling. Because you had a lot of memes, and I was dying laughing.
Dude, yeah. What is it? Unknown P?
Oh, yeah.
Shout out to Tabitha in the penitentiary for tax evasion.
Real.
Yeah, I mean, what was it? Mad. It's
so good.
It's an interesting album. I think, as far as like first efforts go, it's groundbreaking for what it is. I think in terms of what it represents is bigger than its quality, I would say. Mm-hmm. And I think that's true on a lot of these tracks that feel a little derivative. Anything past Just a Rascal starts to get a little like repetitive, I think, in some sense. Yeah.
You don't like the song Jezebel where you talk.
I think that's so funny that they've adopted what is basically a Southern word.
Yes.
But yeah, it's musically, I think a lot of it is interesting. I think that there are some of these songs really do hit. I think, Fix Up Look Sharp is the best song on this project by a long shot. I think also Style Points, the album artwork is fucking amazing. Like I love the album artwork for this. But yeah, it's just one of those things where it is very different. And I think just also as Americans, we have to examine our own background and familiarity. And this falls far out of like the American melodic trap boom bap comfort zone in a lot of ways. And it's because of those origins where, it's got a different genesis basically, right? So that's a big factor. But yeah, I mean, I think it's a good project. I think, is it a necessary project? Yes. I don't think it's a great project. And I think that's totally to be forgiven, just given, being 18 years old. It's like, you look at the recording quality on this and you compare it to like, I don't know, the first efforts of artists we really like, Juice WRLD, Chance the Rapper, stuff like that. It's like, this is, in terms of like what he's doing from just a production standpoint, I'd say on par with those things. It may not be to our taste, but it's definitely.
I agree.
Up there.
I agree with that wholeheartedly.
I agree with that. And you got to think about it. The main audience that he has, like understanding some of these words, I didn't fully understand.
Yeah.
And I had to pull up the lyrics. But like, if you're British, you probably got to think like this hits. Like,
oh yeah,
the actual lingo that he's using, it's what they would use as a street lingo. Like,
I say,
Reginald, with your boys and do stuff, it just hits. It's original.
That new Dizzy Rascal is positively chuffing.
Yeah. But yeah,
I don't know.
I understand.
It
All
is
right,
hard.
Jeff, how
It's
much did
hard
you hate
not
it?
to do that.
I just couldn't understand a word he was fucking saying.
The mixing is tough for sure. Like on top of the accent.
It was the accent. It was just so hard. I fell out of listening to hip hop during the mumble rap era. So
This is worse.
this is on par with the mumble rap era,
Okay.
I'd say, where you can't understand a damn word he's saying. Good beats, but
Yeah,
it does not make up.
You don't know what he's saying. Yeah.
If I can't understand, I'm out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and like that's a problem with me with other international like hip hop artists is that I'm a lyrical listener. So like if it's in another language, like I also have a learning disability that makes learning another language pretty difficult. So it's like if it's in another language, it's like it's not gonna be for me. It's just not gonna like this I just didn't have the same experience as Jeff. Like maybe because like I watch a lot of British stuff. Like
I think that definitely helps.
Yeah.
Like being involved in the British culture, like through TV.
Yeah, like
through soccer.
Comedy probably is like my biggest like the British comedy scene is great. Like if you like completely. So that's probably my biggest touchstone with British culture. Like more so than this.
That for me it's comedy. Like I get Jimmy Carr on my feed all the time. Fucking Top Gear, Formula One.
Oh, Top Gear is a very good show. It's not for me, but as far as like making a show goes, it is incredible. Like it's kind of soothing.
It's great. It's just aesthetic content.
Yeah, Top Gear's very well done. Yeah.
I guess I should ask then, Jeff, since we all have a point of reference, do you consume any British media?
No.
Okay.
Really? Like never any shows? Like you never watched Sherlock or anything like that?
No. Yeah, just
isn't The Boys like
The Boys is not British.
No, The Boys isn't British.
No.
I just
but that's about it.
I don't really
Peaky Blinders? Like
no. I've tried Peaky Blinders, I just never really got into it.
Yeah.
No.
21 Crumpets.
Yeah.
Probably the closest you're gonna get.
Peaky Blinders is very good. Peaky Blinders is old timey Sopranos. It hits every beat from the Sopranos.
Yeah.
Like it's fantastic, and like honestly, like I'm two seasons into it. Well worth the watch. Like I say that as a compliment, but like I can see like why it's kind of
and that's more Irish.
Because
I'd say
he's Romani. He's not even British, but yeah, it takes place in Britain. But yeah, it's not super British. It's very Romani and Irish focused, and Italian and Jewish.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it's like same energy as Boardwalk Empire. And
very similar.
A lot of that.
Very similar energy to Boardwalk Empire, which is also very good. I have a little bit of hip hop trivia for you guys.
Let's hear it.
Okay, because the second Fix Up Look Sharp comes on, which I agree is the best song on here. That is a classic song.
It's a good song.
But that beat is from a very important moment in hip hop culture. Do you guys know it was reused because it was obviously 10 years old when this happened?
It was 10 years old when this happened?
Little
it's
game.
Funny, now you say that, this definitely is something I've heard before.
Well, the beat itself, the big beat is Billy Squire.
It's not a sample. The beat was reused for something else. Not a song.
After this?
Yeah, after.
Oh, it's not chopped, but it's 99 Problems.
No, it's not like. It was should I share my screen? It was the beat for Kendrick Lamar's Freshman Cypher.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was Kendrick Lamar, Yellow Wolf, Little B, and Sci-Hi the Prince. Like I share my screen really quick.
I didn't know that at all.
I didn't know that either.
Oh yeah, does no one else just like go back and watch Freshman Cypher sometimes?
I do, but it's always 2016, 2017.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it's normally 2016.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Well, it's a famous beat. It's on 99 Problems.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it kind of makes sense.
Alicia Keys used it too.
What would be original?
It's Billy Squire.
It's Billy Squire.
It's called The Big Beat off of, I think it's called The Tale of the Tape, which is like it's an album.
But yeah, the second that song started, I was like, "Where's Kendrick? Like, is this gonna happen?" Like,
Good pull. Hey,
good pull. Yeah, but yeah, no, And that's like the most traditionally hip hop beat on the album, I would say.
Yeah.
Right? Everything else is very grimy. And like, listen, I love the sound. I think as much as I do like this album, though, I think I'm more interested in listening to more from this artist than listening to this album again. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yes.
Same.
After I finished the album, I literally just looked up UK grime on Spotify and just started listening.
Yeah.
To the music.
And like the mixing, I get the point. Like the mixing definitely doesn't help legibility, but I like the grimy lo-fi. This was made in a garage kind of vibe.
Mhm.
Like in all my music, like that's just a vibe I like. So for me, it was like fine, but like I do see where people are coming from with that.
Yeah, for sure. What I would say as well to that, like, Jeff, I don't blame you. This can be hard to consume. I could recommend much more modern and like easier to understand grime music. Like, there's other artists that I know you'd be like, okay, this is way better.
Oh, I'm sure there are, but this I just could not. Just
The origins was just too British, like. But yeah,
it was just what? Huh?
Yeah.
Okay, I guess it's good.
Yeah. And like, you can kind of hear the wordplay, but like a lot of it is lost because it's very like local references, Like it's like sometimes like people be like West Coast rappers will rap about like the Tens. I've never been to LA. Like I don't fucking know what that is. Right. And it's just like you have layers and layers of it. It's like that to the extreme. You know what I mean? Like
it just made me think of Drake when he's like talking about all these names, just like, Drake, who you talking about? Like,
yeah. Right?
Yeah.
It's like
Who is that? Who is
what are you
Monica?
talking about? Like,
Yeah. Well,
I
mean,
get it.
to be fair, there's some Chicago shit that definitely fits that criteria too.
Oh,
I was
100%.
just gonna
But
say
I
that.
know what it is because I'm
Yeah.
from here.
Because we're here.
Yeah,
Right.
facts.
Right.
Well,
Yeah.
exactly.
Like I get that. Like I get that. Like in Atlanta, they're like, "Who's this Harold's guy?" They're always talking about. But it's like,
or
Why?
I
or,
was just
Try it.
Uncle Ramus.
or like what is it? Who is Mr. U Media?
yeah,
Yeah.
Like if you know, you know.
yeah. If you know, you know. That was a good one.
Good pull. Very
Yeah, good pull. But yeah, so there is just like layers of that. But I think one of the reasons why grime probably picked up here, like, not as like there's not a lot of there's no American rappers making this, but I do think grime is very well beloved among the hip hop community in America. And I think it is because of that difference, because it is unique, while like still, in my opinion, just feeling like hip hop. It really does just feel like the biggest sonic departure in English hip hop, like period, like just English language.
That's actually one thing that I was actually go ahead, Jasper, because I was gonna go into a different topic.
Oh, I was just gonna say there is a good amount of crossover in terms of featuring, in terms of like traditional hip hop or rap artists and that. I think Kid Cudi and Skepta did a run of songs together that are pretty great. One of them made it onto Man on the Moon 3, A$AP Rocky. Like some people have sound that really lends itself to it.
Yeah. Now, do we think that? And Purvis, you could probably be illuminative on this. What is like the connection between grime and drill, right? Because I know drill kind of had a thing where like it started here in Chicago, and then it went to Britain, and it had like a completely like there's like elements like drum beats and drum patterns that are very common, but it took on a huge different sound in Britain. And then it went back to New York with like Pop Smoke and all them. And it sounded just like an American version of British, like the grime that we never got, right? Is there some lineage between grime and drill? Were there artists that went from grime to drill? Like,
that's actually a good question. I don't know the full breakdown. I would say that when I was trying to research grime this week, I did find out that there are like very clear definitions of the subgenres within grime.
Yeah.
And one of them is focused on drill. So I know
like
what
Skepta, I know has done both.
Yes, exactly. So like this, you got to realize the one that I recommend, this was the start. And so we're looking at a 20-year gap between this dropping and where we're at today. There was a period where drill took over when it left Chicago and kind of went to England. And as that sound began to develop, New York also tapped into it as well. And in my opinion, any kind of American hip hop, drill is the closest thing to grime that we have. But because of American culture, like people just don't really tap into it.
Yeah,
They're very focused on themselves.
and I think it's because like I think, not to use a very loaded word, but I think EDM and hip hop just like appeal to two different groups of people in the United States, and it seems like they appeal to the same group in Britain, right? Like, not that there aren't artists that like, bounce between them. That absolutely has been the case for the entirety of these genres, but like it does seem like that there's not a huge overlap, or at least not as big as other genres, right? Like, hip hop probably crosses over with EDM maybe slightly more often than it does with like rock music, but nowhere near as often as it does with like pop and R&B. Like,
no, that's a great point.
I think that's whereas like I think British dance culture is like all of it's together, right? And I don't want to make this like a black and a white thing because I don't think that that's correct, but I think it might be a class thing.
So I want to lend something to this. I looked into like the production behind both just now. The overall sound of grime is inspired mainly by dancehall and garage.
Yeah.
So two existing dance subgenres. So the BPM is around 140, designed to be dance music. So by default, grime is significantly faster than drill. Drill is slower, more melodic. Now, what happened when it first came over in 2014, Chicago drill to the UK, you saw that it was basically just borrowing that sound, starting to build a little bit in terms of like bassy synth being a big part of the melodies associated with it musically. And then around 2017, elements of garage, which is like another ancestor of drill, of grime, started to get kind of layered into more drill to make drill a little more dancey. So they are separate and distinct, but there are people who have crossed the gap because they both rely on spoken word as part of like the delivery. In terms of rap is the common thing that defines the two. And then post 2017, you start to get a little more similarity because they're sharing common DNA through like garage.
Okay.
There's actually an article here from DJ Mag interviewing producers about it. I'm going to share it because this is really interesting.
Ooh, I can put that in the link.
Yeah, it's the evolving sound of UK drill. Let me share this.
Oh yeah.
It's a new music channel. We'll do it.
Because that's another thing I was going to bring up, because I feel like that's one thing Americans are currently struggling with is bridging that gap. Because like the grime is there, the artist is there, the talent's there. It's hard going from, I don't want to say the peak, but where most hip hop is, and then expanding outwards just to hear like this one subgenre of grime. Most people just stay dedicated to the artists that they have here.
Yeah. And I also think that there's a huge, like, I think the huge difference between this album launching grime in 2003 or 4 and the drill thing in 2014 is the internet. Like the internet existed back then, but like social media didn't really.
Yeah.
Right. Or wasn't as ubiquitous as it was then,
Yeah. Yahoo Answers in MySpace, baby.
Yeah. So I think that that's another huge thing. And also like digital distribution of music, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like how I doubt Best Buy Melrose Park was buying a whole lot of British grime in 2004 when they could be spending their money on, the Game albums and Nelly.
The M&M show.
Right. And now like even 10 years ago, like the internet kind of made it like an a la carte format where it's not a la carte, like buffet format where it's like everything's available to you. Yeah, there's going to be a cultural filter keeping you from, just like the people around you aren't listening to grime. You're probably not going to listen to grime, but at the same time, like, it's much easier now.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. Purvis, do you have any other big questions for us about this album?
I guess just to do the highlights and lowlights. I did hear you. Both your highlights is Fix Up Look Sharp, and your low light is I Love You.
Well, I also
Jasper?
really loved Round We Go and Just a Rascal.
Okay.
And I also thought
good.
Do It was an excellent closer. I do agree with Jasper for the most part that I think the back half after like this back run after Just a Rascal, I think is kind of slower, but I think that finisher, Do It, really really ends the album for me. Right? So yeah, like I think, and I also think Sitting Here is an excellent opener. Right?
I agree.
So like I think there's a ton of highlights here, right? I just I think it's just like it is, as much as it is like a very British album, it's also a very 2003 album in my opinion, right? And that's not a bad thing, but it's just like, different fingerprints, different ingredients that go in to make one dish.
For sure. Jasper?
Yeah, I mean, highlight, fix up, look sharp. I sent the Plague Doctor gif every time I was walking around with that playing. It was like, yeah. Other than that, I mean, I think Live O didn't hit for me.
Okay.
Jezebel was interesting. Was that the one where he was like narrating what was going on at
Oh
the
yeah.
party?
Yeah,
With the
Jezebel
girl,
was
yeah.
like a little corny. Like I don't think it was as much of a strikeout as I Love You, but it was corny.
Yeah. One interesting highlight for me seems to be because that sound effect that makes up the beat, that is from a video game. I know it is. I need to find out what it is because it's driving me nuts. It sounds like, I think it's when you slide I think it's when you like Sonic the Hedgehog, when you slide, when you stop.
Oh.
I think that's what it is. I have to
Could
know.
Time for the research. No, I get
Yep.
that.
Yeah.
Jeff, I understand you didn't finish it, so
I would have if I could have, but I just couldn't.
I understand, and I'm not mad at you. Honestly, I appreciate you rather just be like, I'm tapping out than force your way through it.
Yeah.
And being honest about
It's
it.
like, yeah, I wanted to force I just couldn't. I couldn't. It just, the pill's too big. Gotta take it. Just gotta take it.
I know. That's how I'm feeling about I Am Music. Like
Yeah,
listen to it,
yeah.
But here we go. We'll see.
All right. Do we want to give grades? Jeff, I do think you can't give a grade. Like
Oh yeah, no. I'm NA.
Okay.
Tap out.
Perfect. That's fair.
I found it.
I'm going A-. I'm going full-fledged A-. I thought this was great. I don't feel like I have like I feel like this is a much shallower dive than I would usually do because I feel like I have just like such little cultural context for this. But
Yeah.
like just in terms of like my actual appreciation, I really, really enjoyed it. I can see myself going back to this album, but I think I would prioritize just listening to more of this artist. And then like if you got a playlist, Purvis, send it my way because I'll listen to this stuff. This is not against my taste. It's just maybe not the thing I would like just passively put on when I have like if I have like 3 minutes to like run to the store, I'm not gonna just listen. I'm not gonna just mindlessly hit this. But like intentionally though, I would really enjoy it.
Absolutely, I fully accept that. I have albums that like the British would consider like their version of Kendrick albums. So like there's stuff out there.
It's like good kid, mad British channel. I don't know. Like
Good fish, mad chips.
Good fish, bad chips. There we go.
I mean, I'll just give mine. I'm around the same thing. This I actually had not listened to this album at all. I was excited to recommend this one because all of us would have just came in completely fresh. I'm sitting around an A- as well. I appreciate the quality that he put this out as, like an 18-year-old with a genre that didn't exist. That's insane to me. It's extremely impressive.
The story around it is nuts. And like, honestly, like the dude deserves all the credit in the world. Like, he did make grime. Like,
he literally made
like he's
grime.
allowed to make that his album name. Like, I can't clown that.
That is a flex. It's true. All right, Jasper, do you have any thoughts? Any grades?
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a B+. I think that it is a formative, very important project. I think it's incredible for someone who's 18 to put something together that is this, I think, complex in that way and really checks all those boxes of a genre defining like touchstone moment. I do think there are just things that to my taste are not necessarily there. I think the mixing is rough, like on top of the accent, just like there are a lot of areas where things tend to get lost in the beat or in just like the music and the effects, which honestly gave me like the energy that I got. It's like British scaring the hose in that sense, because that was like one of my gripes with scaring the hose was that I was losing content in the music. With that though, like I think he puts on really great lines, bars most of the time. I think that there are examples of just like some unnecessary kind of like narrating what other people are doing, which I get for like the opener track if he's just sitting there. But like as you go through, it becomes a little repetitive. And I think his delivery is pretty repetitive and pretty monotone. Or I don't want to say monotone, but like very consistent in that he doesn't have changes in energy level. And I think that does kind of make the album feel kind of samey and makes it harder to pick out tracks, especially when you get past the really interesting instrumentation from like the first half. So
yeah, I do feel like once you're locked in, it is harder.
Yeah, it's a good project. I think it's like it just shows how much potential he had going forward, and everything else that he did that was really just like another level up from there.
Oh yeah, for sure. All right, well, for anyone that is listening, if you like drill, at least try grime. I'll put it that way.
Oh, I would definitely agree with that. I straight up might think I like grime more than drill.
That's
right?
fair.
Like I don't hate drill, but I just never got into it. It's just like very, like rhythm based and like not super lyrical, and just has never been my thing. This feels like it's a little bit closer to my thing.
For sure.
All right. Do we want to head straight to our recommendations?
Let's do it.
Okay. I'm going to go first because unfortunately I'm just going to kill the vibe because I'm going to recommend a meme. I found a video on YouTube and I literally found it 30 seconds after Purvis recommended this project. And it was Purvis, I'm a man of science, but this was God speaking to me. Like, so I'm going to share. It's someone put a drill beat over Hello by Adele, and it's incredible.
That's nuts.
Perfect timing. Let's do it.
So,
I'm ready.
And
Don't forget to fill out the sheet. But
oh my God, the photo.
It's me. I was wondering if after all these years you'd like to me to go over.
Wait for the drop. Wait for the drop. It's crazy.
So glad
They
you heard
say
this.
that time's supposed to heal ya. I ain't done much healing. I've forgotten how it felt before.
It sounds good. I don't care.
This is not bad. I have listened to this a couple of times. Here it is.
That's pretty good.
The production's good.
It's not
the
bad.
Production's amazing.
That is not a bad drill beat. Like
Someone gets kept on that.
People, the top comment on this video is like Adele 2 weeks after dating Skepta. Like
they know. They know.
So yeah, that's I saw this. How could I say no? How could I not do this to you? Like
I love it. I'd love it.
I promise I'll be more serious in my next recommendation.
I'm here for the memes. I mean, I guess I'll go next. This is like trending on TikTok, but I actually love this song. Snow Allegra, In Your Eyes, absolutely slaps. Highly recommend. If you guys haven't listened to Snow Allegra, she's great in general, but In Your Eyes is a great song. So that's mine.
I'll go next. This is purely based on the weather starting to get warmer. It's Childish Gambino, Sweatpants.
That's fair. Everyone has those springtime songs that as soon as the weather turns, you need to put on. Mine is Temptation by Joey Badass.
Yeah, no, this is just one
for
turn on when you get onto the highway.
For our listeners out there, if your "It's Getting Warm Out" song "Feels Like Summer" by Childish Gambino, congratulations on being basic.
I listen to that in the winter. I think it's very funny to listen to that song if I have to walk to Jewel and it's like 3 degrees out. I think it's very funny to listen to that song.
My first recommendation is actually going to be featuring our boy Dizzy Rascal. So it's good. It's "The Power" by DJ Fresh, and it's the radio edit. And this song is insane. Purvis, if you want something that is going to check every single box you've ever had for UK music, listen to this right now. I promise you.
Check it out. Let me see.
Like, listen to the first 30 seconds and just tell me you're not hooked.
I've listened to a lot of grime. Yeah, let me take a look.
This is more EDM with Dizzy over it, but
Yeah. And I've heard of Dizzy too, actually. I mean, not Dizzy, DJ Fresh.
yeah,
Or I have the official video.
there you go.
This is gonna be fun. Are we gonna have a grime thing?
The drop is nuts, dude. The drop is insane. I love this song.
Honestly, in like songs like this, here, let me turn it down. I'm sorry.
You're good.
Songs like this is essentially why I thought you were gonna like this the most.
Yeah,
Because I know it taps in so much into like electronic and EDM.
yeah. I mean, I've been listening to this song since I was probably 13, 14.
But
There you go. That's it's right there.
I love it. I love it.
Jeff's like, nah, fuck this.
No, I
What
just
is he
picture Purvis in the club throwing fists to that song.
Purvis in the streets of London and like fucking Piccadilly wearing Nike Tech and like black Air Max Plus and like a net gator.
And he's
funny
getting ready to
because
just squabble up with someone.
It's hilarious because I've gone to London and I've been in the club at 3 a.m. listening to Diplo to this music. Everything you're saying, I've done.
But were you fighting someone? No.
I wasn't fighting anyone, no.
But that's what I picture. You in the club, just
I have to
Get
be
ready to
fighting
go.
somebody.
yeah. Just
Brandon, give us your second recommendation. Get us back on track here.
That's fine. No, I was just gonna let it play its course. I have no intention on ever going to Britain unless to wage war. If I'm not there to kill a king, I'm not going to Britain. Like,
No one cares about the king or queen over there.
the king should not exist. As long as they put a crown on a man, I will kill
Our
him.
president's it's not any better. What do you want from us?
I mean,
Yeah, you got a point there, but I want to kill him too. So you're not exactly.
We've been doing so well.
you're gonna have to bleep that out.
Say the line, Brandon.
Revolution now. Anyway.
Movie magic.
Yeah, I'll bleep that, I guess. Yeah, I don't want us to get disappeared. Like, it's getting scary. Like,
It's getting sticky.
The government is getting very sticky. Like,
Inshallah.
inshallah, the government is getting
Get us
sticky.
back on track.
Yeah. Okay, so my next recommendation came up on my Booling playlist, and it really was like one of the better songs from last year that I can't believe didn't come up more in the Golden Nugget. Probably the feature of the year, and that's Fuel, Eminem and Jid. That song's great. Like,
Great.
I always thought Jid sounded like Eminem, but like better
That's
production. Like, and I mean production in like a broad sense, not with just like the beat, like crafting a song. But like, yeah, like this song is just perfect. I remember when this song first came out, like Purvis said like Eminem's verse goes from great to good to like perfect. And I'm like, yeah, that's the best way to describe like the journey of that song. So yeah,
So good.
it's an incredible song.
Eminem and Jid remind me of the have you seen the Eric Andre "What If It Was Purple" skit?
No.
Oh, it's so good.
I
It's
bet
like
it is. I like Eric Andre a lot. Like,
they hold up a picture of a rabbit, and I think it's a rabbit, and he goes, "What if it was purple?" And they pull out like a card inside, and there's like a purple colored plate behind the rabbit, so it makes it like purple looking. It's like the crowd goes nuts.
it's insane. I gotta look into that.
Purvis, you
Who's
up?
up? Is it me? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yep.
In preparation for Playboy Cardi, I have been listening to the YNs. So I went back and listened to Ken Carson and SS Hits. I'm sorry, I'm gonna recommend it. That's all.
I'm sure Elon Musk likes that song. He's a big fan of the SS.
Yeah,
Guys, we're like 10 minutes from ending the podcast.
we're we're much less time than that, but yes, you are right. We should calm down. And
Elon probably
also,
listens to that
Elon
song
Musk
9
could,
times a day.
Elon Musk can eat a dick. Like there's a
probably
cyber
does.
dude. I live next to a tattoo parlor. One of the tattooers has a cyber truck, and every day I look at it and I'm like, I got enough liquor and gasoline and dirty rags to really end that for now.
Dirty Rag sounds
Alright.
like an insane name of a fucking like Run the Jewels song.
that would be the name of my EP. Would be Dirty Rags. Like
There you go. And it's a commentary on revolution now and class struggle in America.
yeah,
because
exactly.
poverty. 10 out of 10.
It draws parallels
Brandon
between
Lord.
like, I don't know what's going
Sorry.
on. Do the next one. Like
Jeff,
could
go
have a
ahead.
lot of you could have a lot of meanings for Dirty Rags. A
you
lot
know
of
I
meanings.
do. You know I do. Right? Like it's
So you can get a lot of people.
yeah, a lot of people. Like
So my next song is gonna be a Brockhampton classic, Gold.
Ooh,
oh my god, talk about another when the weather turns good song.
I
Yeah.
like that. Good picks.
That's an excellent pick. I will never get tired of that song.
No, never. It's a classic.
It's a classic. Yeah, it's so good.
Me next.
Send us home.
Grimes got me in my EDM bag. So my next one is Oliver Heldens. Song is Gecko Overdrive. Also the radio edit. Peak vibes. Promise you.
My mission was accomplished.
Yeah, it just got me listening to shit that I haven't listened to in like 10 years. Like, yeah, this still hits.
Oh yeah. All right, we made it.
We made it.
We had to edit some things, but we made it.
I'm just gonna put some very basic, like I'm just gonna cut the audio for like 1 second.
Like-
That's it. And honestly, like if he wasn't disappearing people, I would keep it in. But like he is. Like talk about dirty rags if I'm right. Like
Ooh.
a lot of those in
All
Gitmo. Anyway, like and subscribe, gentlemen.
Go eat a potato jacket in it.
I will say, Guantanamo Bay and waterboarding at Guantanamo Bay sounds awesome if you don't know what either of those things are.
I am not angry by that, but I am gonna end the podcast.